Welcome, and konnichiwa, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dominions 4, Thrones of Ascension by Illwinter Game Design. I would like to invite you to join me on a journey, beginning in the chilly mountain passes, misty rice fields, and thick forests of Shinuyama, and hopefully ending in world domination. The door to the netherworld has been closed, and the powerful Oni are becoming fewer and fewer. The Bakemono lords have usurped power and now rule the land, awaiting the awakening god. For this Let's Play, I will be using some mods. I will be using the Mobility mod by llamabeast, which allows your map move 2 and 3 units to move farther than they would otherwise through different types of terrain, depending on where they start and where they finish. I'm also using the Worthy Heroes mod by Burnsaber, which adds to and improves national heroes, and is especially a benefit for Shinuyama. For the map, I'm going to use a beautiful map called Biddyn by Pymous. Now, this map is gorgeous and has been hand-drawn by Pymous, and he's also recently updated it so that it has some unique cave provinces that take advantage of the changes in the latest patch. I will provide a link in the description of this video to both the mods and Pymous' map on the Desura forums, but you can also check out his artwork at his website, pymous.com. As you probably have figured out by now, I'm going to be playing Shinuyama. I have never played this nation before. It is a middle-aged nation, and it was suggested in the comments of my video, and after some research I decided to give it a try. Now, I'm going to be playing with random enemy nations, but I have already determined who those nations are. I basically loaded up a test game and had random nations generated. And the reason I did this is because there are two nations in the Middle Age, Ermor and Asphodel, who have dominions that kill population, much like Lemuria in my nation showcase of that nation. When you're playing against other people, that's okay, because generally everyone will gang up on them right from the start. But in a single-player game, the AI will gleefully just sit still and let their populations be killed, and I just don't find that very fun, to take over half a world that has been completely depopulated, you get no income and supply from. So in order to avoid those two nations, I ran a test game and let it pick random nations, which I will now add manually. Unlike my first Let's Play, I am also going to showcase one of the underwater nations. So I'm going to have 5 enemy nations, and I will be the 6th. I will of course be Shinuyama, and my enemy nations will be Mictlan, Agartha, Vanarus, Atlantis is the underwater nation, and Bandar Log. I will also increase the difficulty. With the entrance to the netherworld closed, the Oni became fewer and fewer. Their Bakemono slaves and human servants rebelled, and when the last of the Dai-Oni died, the realm was taken over by Bakemono Kings. Human smiths were forced to reveal the secrets of metalcraft, and the Bakemono have become ready to conquer the lowlands from the humans. The Bakemono still live in a tribal society, ruled by the strongest and most powerful of their kin. The Bakemono are a diverse kind. Huge lumbering O Bakemono, proud Dai Bakemono, strange shapeshifters and ghostly apparitions all heed the call of the Bakemono Kings and the awakening god. Now this race is known as weak, but I've looked at them and they have a lot of diverse and fun national summons that other nations don't get, and those are kind of my favorite nations. I like to look at the unique and interesting troops. So I'm pretty excited about this. They also get extra gold and resources in cave forts, which is great because, as I said, Pymous recently put some cave provinces in the Biddyn map. Their military is pretty weak. You can think of the Bakemono as Japanese versions of goblins. They are small, weak creatures for the most part. They are disorganized for the most part, and many of the troops are... Oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? That you can't provide them orders, much like the dispossessed spirits in my Lemuria Let's Play. They do have some better infantry, though, that are very expensive in resources, the Dai Bakemono, which hopefully in the late game I will be fielding in much larger numbers. They also have an amphibious commander and troops called Kappas, and they have really cool summoned supernatural commanders. They are strong in death, fire, earth, water, nature, but their priests are weak. So unlike we're not going to have level 3 priests running around. In fact, we aren't going to have any level 3 priests except for our prophet. Now, which god should we choose? There are a lot of unique and good choices here. Let's start by talking about the gods I have not chosen. The Bakemono Kunshu would be the most thematic. He is a Bakemono King, but he has the same magic as our national troops, and really, he's expensive, too expensive I think for what you get, so I'm not going to go with him. Another great choice would be the Great Sage. He is what's called a rainbow mage. It is very cheap for him to get different paths of magic, and he is an excellent researcher, and he inspires all of the researchers in the province he is in to research better. So from a magical standpoint, he would be a really great choice. Another thing I would love to explore is a immobile pretender, like an idol of sorcery, but the way the thrones work in this game, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, because the only people who can claim thrones are either your prophet, in this case, or your pretender, since we don't have any recruitable level 3 priests, and so an immobile pretender makes that very hard. So what I've decided to go with is the Celestial General, and I have decided to go with 4 air, 4 earth, 5 astral, and even though it's expensive to add a new path, I'm going to go with 2 nature. Now my reasoning for this is because I am using this fellow to diversify the magic of this nation, and this nation has no natural access to astral or air. The earth is just a good skill to have, and it combined with the air and with the astral can forge a lot of items in synergy with those 2 paths that couldn't be forged without them. The nature is because the best mage that we can recruit, the Bakemono Sorcerer, is an old age unit, and there is an item that you can create with nature that is a miscellaneous slot item that ceases the aging of commanders, which later on I would very much like to have, and that's the purpose for this. There are also some summons that require nature. So that's another key issue, and one reason why I took air magic is there are some cool Tengu summons that cannot be summoned by any of the national mages, and so I've created this fellow to be able to summon them. He can also create the Staff of Elemental Mastery, which will increase the elemental paths of any mage holding it, elemental being fire, earth, air, and water, and he has enough astral to eventually create the Ring of Sorcery and the Ring of Wizardry with the right boosters. The Ring of Sorcery boosts the death, nature, blood, and astral, and the Ring of Wizardry boosts everything. So this guy is basically existing to, similar to Ursula, benefit the nation by creating things that the rest of them cannot. As for my Dominion, I have thought long and hard on this, and I have decided to be a little good in everything, but not particularly great in anything. I have decided to go with Order 2, Production 1, Cold 1, Growth 1, and Luck 1, Fortune 1. Now, I don't know if this is the right choice, but it's what I'm going to go with. I was thinking perhaps maybe Magic 1, which would help my researchers, but again, it only helps my researchers by 1 research point for each one. I don't necessarily know if that's worth it. I could remove production, since most of the troops don't take a lot of production. Their best troop does, but by that point in the game, there are spells that can increase production, and there are ways around that. I could take that away and add it to order to get more income. I could get more growth, which means more population, which means more income in the long run. It'll also increase supplies since we have summonable troops that are gluttonous and eat a lot of food. And of course, more fortune is always a good thing because it means more free gems, free gold, free items, and a reduction of bad events. But I'm going to go with this. I think it's best to be a little good at many things rather than very good at a few things. I'm going to pop up the Dominion to 6, set him as dormant, and there we are. And our god is going to be named Date Masamune, who, if you are familiar at all with Japanese history, was a daimyo, a great general and noble during the Sengoku Jidai period, the Warring States period. He had a very singular and impressive helm with a crescent moon shape on it, and he had only one eye. Interesting fellow. Okay, as far as the settings here, I am going to go with special sites of 60, since I love special sites. We're going to need a bunch of gems, and this is a showcase. I'm not just playing on my own, I'm playing for an audience, and I would really like you to see some of the cool special sites this game has. I was a little bit unimpressed with the lack of them that we found in my last Let's Play with We did find one where we could recruit cool astral mages. We did at the end find one that could recruit sorceresses, though we never did so, and I'm hoping in this case we'll find some really neat sites. I'm also going to be bumping up the Hall of Fame entries to 15. I will be enabling the score graphs, although like my previous Let's Play, I will only look at them occasionally, just to give you an idea, let's say every 10 episodes, of how we're doing. One thing I will be changing from the previous Let's Play is I'm going to set research to easy. The reason for this is I didn't feel like I got to show you many of the really cool late game global and battlefield spells, and rather than play a super long Let's Play that lasts forever, if I make research easy, we'll get there faster. Now this will benefit my enemies as much as it will benefit me, but I think that's more fun too. You'll be seeing battles where they're going to be casting cool spells, I'm going to be casting cool spells. It's going to be a lot more interesting and engaging, I think. As for Thrones of Ascension, we're going to go exactly with what we went last time. We're going to have 1 level 3 throne, 2 level 2 thrones, and 5 level 1 thrones. And to win, we're going to need 7 points. So that's half of the total points plus 1. Okay. Finally, of course, I'm going to allow renaming, and just like my previous Let's Play, please leave a comment in this video only, the first video, if you would like to be named as a commander, what that name should be, and I'm going to try something a little different this time. We'll see how it works, but I can't guarantee anything, but suggest to me what you would like to be. If you would like to be a commander, like a troop-carrying commander, like a Bakemono general, if you would like to be a mage, which might take a little longer for you to come into the game since I'm not going to really recruit my big mages until later on when I have the ability to prevent them from getting old age afflictions. And if you'd like to be a summoned creature mage or general, like a Shura ghost general or a Daitengu, that's possible too, though again, that may take later in the game. So I'm going to let you decide what you'd like if you want to be in the game. It's great. Again, no guarantees. I'll see what I could do, but I'm going to try very hard to grant everyone's request. Alright, so that's the setup, and we are ready to go and take over the world as Date Masamune. I will start that in later episodes, so goodbye and sayonara.